Good Tuesday morning, June 20th, 2023. Just finished a book, Baseball Top 5 Player List. What do I mean? Yearly leaders of every batting category. What did I do in this book? It's available on Amazon. I took the years 1871 through 2022, about 151 years of Major League Baseball. I wanted to find out who landed in the top 5 in a certain category. Here are the categories: home runs, batting average, runs scored, runs batted in, triples, doubles, singles, total bases, slugging, on base, base on ball, stolen base, and career hits. I wanted to find out each year who landed in the top 5 as far as best performance for the year. Are you following me? For example, 1871. Who were the top 5 home run leaders? Well, in 1871, Lib Pike, Levi Miro, Fred Tracy, Ned Cubbert, and Ezra Sutton. I know you haven't heard of those 5 names, but they led the league in home runs. Lib Pike was first with 4 home runs for the year, 1871, 4. Levi Miro had 4. Fred Tracy had 4. Ned Cubbert had 3. And Ezra Sutton had 3. And those were the top 5 for the year 1871. This video, I want to tell you who landed in the top 5 the most times between 1871 and 2022. Let's take chapter 1, home runs. Top home run leaders for each year from 1871, every year until 2022. The top 5 for every year, 1871, 72, 73, and all the way to 2022. And I did this in this book, Baseball's Top 5 List, just for the fun of it. A labor of love. Chapter 1. Which player landed in the top 5 the most times in baseball history in home runs? Do you know who? I looked it up. I looked at the stats. Babe Ruth, 16 times between 1918 and 1933. He landed in the top 5 with the most home runs for the season, for the certain years. 16 times. Who was number 2? Henry Aaron, 11 times between 1957 and 1973. Next, Jimmie Foxx, 10 times, 1931 to 1940. Just every year he was in the top 5 for Jimmie Foxx in that decade. 1931, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. 10 times, Jimmie Foxx. Next, Mike Schmidt, 10 times, 1974 through 1986. Lou Gehrig, 9 times, 1927 to 1937. Harmon Killebrew, 9 times, 1959 through 1970. Mel Ott, 9 times, 1929, 1945. Gavy Kravis, you heard of him? I didn't hear of him until I did the research. But between 1912 and 1919, he landed in the top 5 in home runs. 8 times. How about that? He's not in the Hall of Fame. Mark McGwire, 8 times, 1987, 1999, not in the Hall. Those other guys that I mentioned, Ruth, Aaron, Fox, Schmidt, Killebrew, Gehrig, Killebrew, Ott, all in the Hall of Fame. Kravis, McGwire, not in the Hall of Fame. Neither is Barry Bonds, and he did it 7 times. Top 5. 1993 through 2004. Ted Williams, 7 times. 1939, 1957. Joe DiMaggio, 7 times. 1936, 1948. Willie Mays, 6 times. 1954, 1965. Willie Mays, 660 home runs career, right? Yet he was only in the top 5 in home runs 6 times. Babe Ruth, 16 times. Aaron, 11 times. So Aaron, a better home run hitter. Ruth and Aaron are better home run hitters than Willie Mays. Mike Trout, 6 times. He's not in the Hall yet. He will be one day, 2014 to 2022. And he's got more years to add. Ken Griffey, 6 times. He had over 600 homers, yet only 6 times in the top 5. 1993 through 1999. Roger Connor, 6 times. 1887. 1896. Hank Greenberg, 6 times. 1935 through 46. Ralph Kiner, 6 times. 47 through 52. Dan Brothers, old school, 1879, 1886, 5 times. Jim O'Rourke, old school, 1874, 1880. Hack Wilson, 5 times, 1926 through 30. Mickey Mantle, 5 times, 1956, 64. You'd think Mantle would have been more. He was a home run slugger. Eddie Matthews, 5 times, 1953 through 1960. Dave Kingman, not in the Hall, 1975 through 84. Sammy Sosa, not in the Hall, 1998 through 2002. Sosa had 2 seasons where he hit 60 or more home runs. Yet something going on with Sosa where he's not in the Hall of Fame. Why? Stats are in question. Ed Delante, old school, 1893, 1902, 5 times. Ernie Banks, 5 times. 1955 through 1960. Alice Rodriguez, 5 times. 2001, 2007. 5 times. And Chuck Klein, 5 times. 1929 through 1933. So 5 times or more is what I did to see who landed in the top 5. You had to, in order to land in the top 5 in my list, you had to do it 5 times or more. So 29 players in baseball history. 5 times or more in the top 5. Leading was Babe Ruth, 16 times. Did you know that he led both the American and National League 11 times? 11 times he was number 1 as far as home runs. Did you know that Henry Aaron, he only did it 1 time, led both the American and National League? I'm talking about both leagues. Combined, who's number 1? Hitting the most home runs. Ruth, 11 times, number 1. Aaron, just once. Some of the other guys, Fox was 3 times, Schmidt 6, Gehrig 2 times, Killebrew 3. Let's see, anybody else significantly? Ralph Kiner 4 times. Rest of the guys about 1, 2, or 3 times. Yeah. So can we say with certainty that Babe Ruth was the most prolific home run hitter in baseball history by the fact that he landed in the top 5 with the most home runs for the season, and he did it 16 times. He played 22 years. Did you know that 5 or 6 of the years he pitched? If he was a full-time player in those pitching years, he could have had 18, 19, or 20 times in the top 5 in home runs. And he would have ended up with more homers, too. 714 was his career total. He could have been in the 800s, maybe 900 home runs if he had played 22 straight years and had full seasons all those years. Looking up his stats, Babe Ruth, it looks like about 15 to 16 full seasons. And he hits 714. Aaron had 23 seasons. And Aaron was playing every day, but he ended up with 755. So I would say that Aaron had about 7 more full seasons than Babe Ruth. Yet, he only beat him by about 41 home runs. Proficiency, Babe Ruth. Who else can we say is really a prolific base home run hitter? Well, you got Ruth and Aaron. Yeah, you got to give it to them. Fox, over 500 homers. Mike Schmidt, 500. Gehrig, 493. I would say you have to put Ralph Kiner on there. He led both the American and National League 4 times, and he had 6 times in the top 5. Now, who do I consider the greatest home run hitters of all time? Well, if you look at their career totals, you got to go with Ruth, Aaron, Mays, because there's 600 or more. Griffey hit 600 or more. Thome hit 600 or more, but did you notice that Jim Thome's not on this list? He didn't land in the top 5 enough times. He did a couple times, but not 5 or more. I'd say Mickey Mantle was a slugger. Harmon Killebrew a slugger. Mike Schmidt had home run titles. Ted Williams hit a lot of homers. Some of these other guys had potential. Alex Rodriguez and Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire should all be in the Hall of Fame. They all have career numbers. But something going on with their stats. And I just don't like the fact that they're not in the Hall. I think they should be in the Hall. But something went on during those years, 80s, 90s, 2000s. As far as the drug use, I don't know all the details. But man, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Alex Rodriguez, those guys were sluggers. How about Dave Kingman? He could hit it. I was watching a game on TV once. I think it was in the 1970s. The game of the week. Cubs were playing. Who were the Cubs playing? Chicago Cubs were playing somebody. Philadelphia Phillies. One of those teams. The score was 24-23. Forgot who won the game. But in that game, Dave Kingman had 3 homers. But not, a lot of guys have hit 3 home runs. But every time Dave Kingman came up, he hit the ball 500 feet every time. Not just 380 or 400 feet. It was 500 feet. That guy was a home run slugger, Dave Kingman. About Ernie Banks, 500 homers. Hank Greenberg had potential. Killebrew, slugger, 570. 500. How many did Killebrew hit? He had over 570, I know that. Mike Trout is a homer guy. He can hit it. Joe DiMaggio had 7 times in the top 5. Ted Williams, 7 times. Hack Wilson had that one great year where he hit 56. Lou Gehrig had the potential, ended up with 493. Did you know he only played 17 years? Give Lou Gehrig 20 to 25 years. he'd have 600 homers. But he stopped at 17th year, and that wasn't even a full year. So give Gehrig about 16 years, hits 493. Potential. Jimmie Foxx, he was a slugger. Mickey Mantle, too, played 18 years. He could have, if he plays 20, 22, it's possible. And if he was healthy, I think Mickey Mantle would have hit 700 homers if he was healthy and 22 straight years. He was a slugger. Baseball's top 5 list. Home runs. I'll continue doing videos on this. Next video will be batting average. Who landed in the top 5? Batting average, the most times. Thanks for watching here. I'm out.